Last year was an amazing year in our garden. That was our first year ever trying to do gardening and being serious about homesteading. We had so much produce and so many amazing things that we were able to do in that garden that we never thought was possible. And it gave us so much confidence and a lot of eagerness and excitement as we headed into the following year. Well, this 2021 has turned out to be very different. And right now, I'm kind of at a crossroads trying to figure out what in the world are we going to do next? And am I ever going to be able to get back to a wonderful garden such as this right here? Time will tell, and let's talk about it. So yeah, guys, last year, there was a couple lows, but overall, we actually had tremendous success for our first big year of homesteading. And, that built a lot of confidence and gave us a huge drive to keep pressing forward. Well, unfortunately, this year in particular, it's really been some struggles, and I actually reached a point the other day. I thought about just calling it quits on trying to have a garden and some of the things we got going on. That's the first time since I've been doing this that I really questioned if I was going to keep doing this or not. And I hated having that sense of feeling. And let me show you kind of what I guess was the straw that broke the camel's back, and talk about a couple other things in conjunction with that kind of led me to be in that state of mind. Because when you do this, there are definitely some lows, and you got to figure out how you're going to deal with those when they come along. So guys, that'll probably give you a little bit of an idea. So 2 days before I had actually had plans to start working on a permanent fence on the garden, in one night, the deer entered and they ate all the tomato plants, all of the sunflowers, and all the cucumbers. The only surviving plant was our watermelons. Everything else was pretty much chewed. And I know it was a deer or several deer, because the way that they were chewed, which you could see, had it been rabbits or groundhogs or anything like that, they pretty much would have probably taken it down to the ground, versus the deer just kind of bit all the tops off of everything. And, with the exception of the lettuce and maybe tomatoes, the others are pretty much going to be done and dead. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, the deer got your garden. That's not the end of the world. Well, kind of what's going on, guys, because I try to be optimistic as much as I can on our channel, as I do in life in general, because who really wants to be around a lot of negativity? But the reality is, this year's been tough. Time's been very limited, both here personally and professionally. There's been some issues. So, professionally, y'all know I work in law enforcement, and if you just watch much of the news I work with a lot of great men and women, and I'll be real honest with you, work's just not as enjoyable as it used to be. Not that every day was enjoyable doing it, but I at least used to keep a very positive mindset, and I'm still trying, but it's much more difficult right now. And we're super short, so a lot of people are working a lot extra. We got a big event coming up here in the city that I work at, which is pretty much going to have me working every day for 2 weeks. But personally, we had that big batch of meat chickens that got killed, which put us 4 weeks behind on our poultry production, which would have freed up all my time for the garden, which didn't happen because of us being behind. Now I got the garden that has pretty much been ruined, and I have to restart over on that. And so it's kind of discouraging when you're so thin on your time, and so you're working extra hard to make sure you still achieve all those things that you want to achieve. And then when it feels like you're 1 step forward, 2 steps back, it's really hard to stay motivated. Physically, I've been battling 2 things as well. Well, Mrs. Rocky Creek and I. Mrs. Rocky Creek, for those that don't know, she's pretty small. She's only probably about 120 pounds. Well, late in her pregnancy with little man, she started having some back issues. And after having the baby, a lot of that's been re-aggravated as she's been caring for them, bending over, picking them up, doing all the things that a mother does a lot of times for their kids. Well, it really started bothering her, to the point that she ended up going to a doctor, and they said she either has like a bulging or herniated disc. She's been having to use a back brace and do some physical therapy, and they said hopefully it's to the point that it can heal on its own, but if it continues to worsen, then there may be the possibility of a surgery related to that. So that has resulted in me doing a lot more for about the last month than what I typically would do. You know, I've been doing a lot of the baths, a lot more of the diaper changes, a lot more of the feedings. Pretty much anything that has to do with a lot of bending or picking him up or down, that's kind of fallen back on me, which understandably so, but it just obviously limits some of our time as well. And then for me physically, which I used to kind of not think much about it when I heard of people getting it, but I'm pretty sure I have a really bad case of tennis elbow, predominantly in my right elbow. You know, when it came to driving those T-posts in the garden, it's like it was all I could do to get the T-post driver up onto the post to start doing what I needed to do. Some days are better than others, but it's definitely an overuse injury. The day we processed the Cornish crosses, that sucker was flared up big time for about 3 days. It hurt to even pick up the coffee pot and to pour coffee in the morning. So, you know, there's just been a lot of things that kind of seems like a domino effect that's affecting my, you know, my positive thinking that I gotta have, you know, just in life in general, but also to keep pressing on with what we got. And it also doesn't help that I actually already recorded a lot of this video just to find out that the battery in my microphone died partway through it. So we're having to redo a lot of this. You know, it's just one thing after another, guys. And so that kind of puts us at a crossroads. Do we sit here and cry over spoiled milk and just say, woe is me, and just decide we're not going to do anything? Or are we just going to try to do the best we can with the situation that we have? Well, if y'all know me long enough, we're going to do the best we can with the situation we got. I may not be able to control a lot of the stuff at my work. I can only control me personally, and I can control what goes on here at the house to a certain degree. So the other day while the kids were resting, I went ahead and got 4 trays of plants restarted. And I'm just going to change my mindset and thinking of how I'm going to do this. I had already planned to do a cessational planting, half the garden when I did, half the garden about a month or 2 later. So not everything came in at once. I'm just going to change it up, and I'm going to cut back about half of what I'm going to plant, and I'm just going to put it all in the ground at one time. Try to get as much out of the garden as I can until I can probably grow up through September, as long as we don't get big time bug pressure. And instead of geared towards preservation, I'm going to be more looking at, since I reduced the amount, I'm going to be working towards just trying to grow as much fresh produce as I can during the actual spring and summer months, so we can just continuously eat on that as much as we can. And if I get to preserve in the process, hey, fantastic. And then it doesn't do me any good to be down, especially around the kids, because I want them to be positive thinking as well. And we had already filmed us doing this and putting it out earlier today, but obviously I told you the microphone wasn't working. But we had bought Madison a second type of minnow trap last year because she really got into that. And we tried it once in a river and had 0 success. Current was too strong, we couldn't get it sitting anywhere. But the creek is kind of at a point right now where it's primed to try to catch some. So we put it to use in our creek, and let me show you what we've done. So you may be able to see it, but that's, I call it an umbrella style minnow trap, which you might be able to see on the top right there. There's already a ginormous crawdad in there crawling along the top of it. So we have tossed this in here. We only use some bread, and when I pull it out, I'll show why we wanted to give this one a try as compared to the black one that we use all the time, and show you why we're hoping this one may give us some more success. But we'll talk about that when we pull this thing up here in a couple hours, and what bait we use and all that good stuff. So guys, we're gonna leave that minnow trap in for a couple hours, and then we'll grab Miss Madison and we'll go down and check it out. But Mrs. Rocky Creek's out of town actually this weekend, so it's just me with the kids too. So little man's asleep, which is why I was recording this real quick while he was napping. So once he wakes up and that thing's down a couple hours, we'll get Miss Madison and probably put little man in the stroller. We'll wheel down there and see if we didn't have no luck catching some minnows, so we can have a little bit of fun for the afternoon instead of sitting here worrying about all the things that aren't going right.
Hey, Bubba, you wanna go get the minnows? You wanna go get minnows? Hey, Bubba, let's go get minnows. Yeah, you go get minnows too?
Huh? Hey, can you go get the bucket from in front of the shed, please? Come here, Bubba. I gotta put you in this while we're down at the creek, because you get to just running everywhere. I think somebody's due for their first haircut. It's getting a bit out of control now. Well, they're not in there yet, buddy. We gotta go get them. Big, huge crawdad, or 2 crawdads, and a bunch of minnows.
No crawdads. I don't want them to kill any of them anymore. But just throw the crawdads out into... No, don't put them in the bucket. I don't want them in with the minnows. You have to throw it out. Throw the crawdads out. I don't want them.
The problem is there's like no good way to get all these minnows. Alright, can you carry this up? Yeah. So we had a pretty good haul for the first batch. I'm going to get little man up in the stroller up top into the shade, because that water in the bucket's going to get hot pretty quick. And then once we get up there, we'll show you what we got. You ready? Huh? So there's the haul. It's not too bad for when we leave it in there for about, I've been in there about an hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours. So we can get this big crawdad out though and separate him. Last time we had the crawdads in with the minnows, the first time we used the old trap, one of the crawdads pinched and killed the minnow. So now Madison likes for me to keep them separate. Look at that guy. That's a good sized crawdad right there. What do you think of that, buddy? Huh? He gonna pinch your nose. He gonna pinch your nose. Oh. Oh. Oh, no, he gonna pinch your finger. It hurts so bad. Madison's decided she really doesn't want him at all, so we're gonna go ahead and release him back. All right, let me see if I can catch him for you guys, but we got, I'm pretty sure there's 2 different kinds of minnows, and honestly, I'm not very experienced in what's what, but I'll just kind of show you what the 2 different ones look like. They're super fast though, so we'll see what we can get. Seems like the spotted ones are much more prevalent. Alright, so this is, if it doesn't flick out everywhere, you can probably see this one right here is the one that, oh, he's in the dirt. Let's clean him off. So hard to do. Alright, so this is the one without the spots. You can see it's like a grayish color on the top with a brown stripe, and then it has like a black line across its face right there. So hopefully that gives you a good look at it. And they're probably about 1.5 inches in length. And then we got these spotted ones that there's a pile of them. I get them in my hand, but then as I'm trying to come out the water with them, they fly out. All right, I think I got one. All right, so you can see. Oh. All right, I finally got the yellowfin again if he doesn't get out. Hey, stop it. Stop. I'm trying to show you guys, but he ain't stopping. All right, so like I was saying, not sure how long this is gonna last. So you can see the spots that he's got, and then look at the yellow on his fins. Oh. That may be, oh, darn. That maybe I'll let you see the spots on his back pretty good right there. And his yellow fins. And these guys, this one's small, but a couple of them are kind of bigger. And there you can see the yellow fins on the bottom side too. You want to see a fishy? You want to see a fishy? Oh,
Oh.
he went in your cup holder. Oh, he's back in your cup holder again. We won't let Mama see that. She'd get mad at us. Oh, look. Oh, he's on your foot. Look, Bubba. Is that a fishy? What's that fishy doing? Oh, what do you think of that fishy?
No, don't suck on it.
You gonna touch the fishy?
Oh God. Oh God.
What's he doing? What's that fishy doing?
Oh gosh, don't let it die though. There's a griffin. Oh gosh.
All right, let's put the fishy back.
Oh gosh, he's squeezing it to death. Did he die?
No, he's still alive.
Okay, good.
He's a little tired, but he's alive. All right, so while they're messing with the minnows and kind of looking at them, let's talk about the 2 traps that we've used. So y'all seen previous videos from last spring and summer where we use this style trap right here. This trap is still a fantastic trap that we enjoy using, but we have found we have caught a lot of crawdads using this trap, but not very many minnows.
We only caught 1 or 2 minnows.
Yeah, the very first time I ever used this trap, we caught probably about 5 or 6. But since then, we really mostly just get crawdads. I mean, we'll get sometimes 8 to 10 crawdads though. I mean, we'll catch them like crazy, still using bread. But I think our issue is 2 things. Number one, the holes on this is a little bit bigger, and I think some of those smaller minnows get in and out. And then number 2, there's no way to keep the bait centralized in the trap or down low. So the bait tends to rise up to the top here, and then the minnows just eat through the top. A friend of mine has the same trap, and that's the problem he ran into as well. And so this is, you know, a $7 to $10 trap depending on where you buy it from. And if you're trying to catch crawdads and stuff, in some places, if you got bigger minnows, this is still a very, very good trap. But basically what we do is we can use these minnows as bait fish if we go fishing at some point. But a lot of times, like Madison,
I keep one as a pet?
no, but
I love them.
But Madison, she will tend to catch them. Hey, she'll play with them for an hour or 2, and then we'll go dump them back in the creek. So that's where we chose to try this trap out. Number 1, I like how it collapses down, pretty simple. And then how you do it is you just pull up, and it pops through like so.
Look at this big one.
Oh, it is a big one. Now the big key thing, and I don't know how well you can see it, but is that it has this little pouch part here in the center here, and that's where we put the bait in this one, which kept it in the middle down to the bottom. And that's how we were more successful in getting minnows. It also has a lot more entry points of which the minnows can enter in, so it gives you a higher percentage of likelihood of getting some in there. Now the one big downfall, or really 2 negatives to this trap as compared to our older style trap, is number 1 is durability. You know, this thing is thin metal, about the diameter of like a coat hanger would be, and your netting is literally that. It's nothing more than a mesh and net. So if you get a tear in this net, unless you can repair it yourself, your trap's pretty much shot at that point. I want to say we gave about $14 for this trap, so it was a little more expensive. But in terms of us trying to be more successful in catching minnows, this trap was more successful. Now the other negative to this one is that there is no good way to get what you caught out of this. You know, if it's a bigger fish or something, then it's a little bit easier. But with these tiny minnows, the best I could do was turn it up, shake them all down to a corner, and then reach in and grab them that way. But that was still kind of a pain in the butt, and I had to keep... I hear you. So this particular trap, though, it did have a zipper on the bottom that I'm pretty sure was supposed to be a way to get them out of here, but it's all sewn. So I could cut a slit there if I wanted to, but even then, that's a super tiny spot to try to get these guys out of, and it's not very conducive in order to do so. As compared to this trap, after you catch whatever you catch, hey, you just turn it like so, and you got 2 baskets that I just reach in, grab a couple little pieces of debris, turn it over, hit it, and everything dumps out right away. So the reality is that there's pros and cons to both traps, just based off of what your water is, what kind of animals you're trying to catch, or what kind of minnows or crawdads or whatever. You know, you just gotta find what's conducive for you. The good thing is between both traps in total, hey, we're less than $30 for 2 traps. So it might not be a bad idea to buy both if your creek's big enough. My creek's only big enough to manage 1 trap at a time, but you could very well toss both out simultaneously and increase your chances of what you're gonna catch.
You could like do a vote of which one's better on YouTube.
Do a vote of which one's better on YouTube?
Yeah.
So
They'll probably vote for this one because I like this one.
well, it all depends on what you catch. See, this one, we had better success catching minnows.
I like
But
this
if I want
one.
to just catch crawdads, I catch a pile of crawdads in the other one.
I like the minnow catchy thingy one because this one because we catch more minnows, and I don't like that one because we catch more crawdads and no minnows.
You don't like the crawdads
Because
as
that
much?
one we catch minnows and crawdads. With that other one, we catch just crawdads.
Minnow.
Let me see if it jumps.
Buddy, did you see those fishies? Did you see them? He's like, put it back in my cup holder.
So how long you think you're going to keep these guys?
Forever.
No, we're not going to keep them forever.
But I want to keep them in the house.
We're not going to keep the minnows in the house. What'd you think of them minnows, Bubba? Yeah? Oh, you just like my camera. So guys, you know, the good thing is when you got little guys like this and Madison and all the stuff that we, you know, got going on, that yeah, there's gonna be some bad things that are gonna happen, but we get to have, you gonna give me a pat, tell me it's gonna be all right. But the thing is, guys, yes, there's a lot of bad things that haven't gone our way here lately, but at the end of the day, with what problems people really do deal with on a day-to-day basis, we are very blessed, and it's easy to get frustrated. Really? You get your foot out of my face. But it's easy to get caught up in the little things that are upsetting us. But at the end of the day, guys, we're blessed to have what we have. We're going to keep trucking along, even if he's getting mad. And we're going to get him inside. And we're going to let Madison keep playing with her minnows. And we're going to wrap this up, guys. So until then, y'all be good. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Y'all take care of yourself. And we'll see you here real soon on one of our next episodes. Thanks, guys.
You gonna be upset or you gonna tell everybody bye? Huh? Dunk dunk. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye.